Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Oracle and Tarot. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on anti-advice. So this is an anti-advice pick a card because you are already amazing and awesome and all those fun words and badass just being and doing you. We see so many pick a card readings that are about like what you have to do or the next steps or what needs to be healed or let go of or transformed and all the things. And after a while, it gets a little bit overwhelming. Gosh, I guess I got to change everything. And we know that's not true. We know you've already mastered some shit. I already know that you've got some of this down. And I want to celebrate you today as you are. All right? So this is an anti-advice pick a card. We're going to talk about what you are already awesome at. So I encourage you to stick around. I think this will be a fun one. Do like and subscribe. Press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. And if you want to learn more about me or get a personal reading from me, you can check out the details below or at erritygreen.com. I do both life and business readings and a number of other ones as well. So do check out those details. Now I will place a picture up of your 4 card piles to choose from today, and you are choosing from left to right. Okay, card pile 1, the anti-advice pick a card. Okay, whatever you are already awesome at. So I feel like you are generally a very safe, warm, welcoming, emotionally safe person. People can trust you. People love you. They know that when they enter your sphere, your realm, your home, they are welcomed with open arms, that you will take care of them. Even if you don't take care, that you are caring, you are warm, you are welcoming, you are inviting. They know that you are a safe place to land, okay? They know that they can share things with you and that you can hear them. They know that they aren't going to be hurt and harmed by you, generally speaking. They know that you're going to be able to really listen, really hear them, that you're probably not going to judge or to advise or to give feedback unless they seek it out. But they know that you are a safe person. Generally speaking, you are not going to hurt or harm them. You are not going to victimize them. You are not going to play the role of villain in their life. In one way or another, you are going to be someone who is emotionally warm, welcoming, and safe. They can trust you. They can trust you to open up to you, okay? They trust that you are a loving person and in general are someone who, again, is warm, welcoming, inviting, and they know that you're a good person with a good heart. You know, that really is what it comes down to. You're a good person with a good heart. They can trust you. Now, what else? They also know that you're someone who's generally positive, generally optimistic. This doesn't mean that you're always positive or always optimistic or that you have to be, right? We're not setting rules for you today. We're actually just celebrating who you already are. And they know that you're someone who can see the silver lining. They can usually even see the root of something. They might even recognize you as someone who is pretty intelligent, pretty wise, pretty aware, and you can really support them to kind of feel or find like the detail or a subtlety or a nuance that maybe they didn't see. But they see you as someone who is positive. Now, again, I'm not getting that energy of like overly optimistic or something. You don't even have to be someone who's like eager and enthusiastic. You might just be somewhere where they know that positive things and positive change and positive outcomes come from you. Like, they know that if they bring you something, you can make cake out of it, right? They bring you like a this and a that, you're going to be able to do something good with it. And that could also be, again, if they come to you with a problem or a concern or a challenge, that you're going to be able to offer something, and if not that, then hold space for it, that you are strong enough, deep enough to hold space for that, but you can also provide wisdom if and when they seek that out. Again, I also feel like you can find the nuance and the subtleties and circumstances, situations that a lot of people can't or most people can't. So they know that they can come to you. You might be someone that they go to for advice. Some people come to you maybe even for feedback or just to listen, right? A listening ear. They know you are a safe place. They can hold space for pretty much anything, good and bad, and that like that's it. Like nothing has to come of it. It doesn't have to be a big show or big production or spectacle. Like you're just there and that's enough, right? And you're someone who isn't going to hold on too tightly also to anything negative. So you're not going to let something down for too long. You're not going to let something hold you down or hold you back or whatever for too long. You're not someone who's going to hold a grudge. You're not someone who's going to make people feel guilty. You're not going to be someone, again, who holds on to any negative energies for too long. You let that stuff go, right? Even if it comes up and it lingers for a time, you're not someone to hold on too tight or for too long. You know, you're willing to drop something that burdens you You're also willing to let go of negative people, circumstances, and situations that burden you. You're really just not going to keep it around for long if it's not of use, right? If it's not of positive use. So generally, a favorable, positive person in a lot of people's lives, people can come to you, they can trust they can trust you and your advice and your feedback and your wisdom. Let's see, like even a counselor, therapist, someone like that you could play the role of. Right, this is what it comes down to. You bring love into any situation. That's really what it is. They can trust you to bring love into any situation. And that kind of feeds into what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't necessarily mean positive or overly optimistic, although it could be, right? Or it might not always be seeing the silver lining, but you can always bring love into any situation. You can bring consciousness, awareness into any situation. You can bring presence into any situation. You can meet someone where they're at. You can acknowledge them when they're low. You can acknowledge them when they're high. You can connect with people at the truest, deepest level, at the most authentic level, wherever they're at. They know that you can meet them. They know that's my dog over here itching if you hear weird noises. He has like summertime, springtime allergies. Oh wow, it's so interesting. I missed a card. That's so interesting to me. Yeah, you can bring love into any situation. Again, I also feel like people feel really automatically drawn or connected to you. Like they almost feel like they already know you in some way. So you might have some kind of public persona or social media presence or something like that. You don't have to, but I feel like people think that they know you even if they don't. But it could also be that they just feel comfortable with you. They open up to you even if they don't know you or know you very well. They just all of a sudden feel like they can drop the armor, they can drop the defense mechanisms, and they can just totally be themselves, divulge themselves, put it on the table. They're not going to be judged. They're not going to be penalized. They're not going to be punished. They can just be themselves, totally shame-free environment. They can open up to you, open up their hearts to you, and they know that they're safe. You can hold space for pretty much anything, even some particularly negative, we could even say toxic, hostile, or what dysfunctional experiences, behavior, or environments. And I'm not saying that you should do that. I suggest that you are always safe yourself, and if you are not, to leave the situation or to change the situation so that you are safe. With that said, I feel like you kind of been around the block or kind of seen and done it all, and so you're not particularly triggered or overdone or whatever by any one thing, behavior, situation, or circumstance. But do be wary of that. This is anti-advice. I'm not going to say too much, but if it's coming up, don't choose things just because you can handle them. Choose because you want them to. But people do, but we're anti-advice. We're not going to go there. You are awesome because people know that they can bring their full selves to you, even their animal selves or angry selves or whatever. You're probably going to be able to hold space for it, and you're probably not going to judge them, penalize them, or punish them. They are going to be welcomed by you. And because you can hold that space of more or less unconditional love, card pile one, people trust you, people love you, people want to be around you, they are drawn to you, and you're also going to bring about healing, whether you do it directly or not, right? It's not like you're sitting here doing Reiki or like energy healing. You might do that, right? That might be something that you do. But in the end, you're a source of unconditional love that people are drawn to and want to connect with, and they know that they are held there. They are met there, acknowledged there. They don't need to be any one thing. They don't need to play any roles. They don't need to sort of, people kind of play these roles or personas or whatever to get approval. People don't have to do that with you. They know that they can show up. You're very, very down to earth. They trust you, and that's what you are known for and loved for. So card pile one, the anti-advice, pick a card. What you're already awesome at. You're down to earth. People love you, trust you. You are warm, welcoming, inviting. You can hold space for just about anything. You can bring love into any situation. They trust you for your listening ear, for your feedback, for your wisdom, for your guidance. You might even be in the helping profession or a service-based role where you do help people in this way, but you're able to really meet them. You don't judge them. And because of that, you're actually able to help, support, heal, and transform them. So card pile one, if this lands, resonates, I encourage you to like, subscribe, do press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new video pops up. And if you want to learn more about me and my readings, I do readings for both life and business with a number of different themes. You can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile one. Okay, card pile two, the anti-advice, pick a card. What are you already awesome at? Okay, what do people love you for? What have you already mastered? Okay, so I feel like you're someone who is spiritual to a degree, and that doesn't that doesn't feel as relevant as like you're someone who just believes in a higher order to things. You're someone who can trust. You're someone who kind of sees past like any kind of external negative event, stressor, or challenge. Like you're not someone who's gonna, get your panties in a bundle or your pants in a twist because you had a flat tire today, or someone kind of, left a negative voicemail on your phone, or someone wasn't very nice to you in the grocery line, or you kind of hit upon a speed bump with someone or a hurdle in your life. You kind of take it all with a grain of salt. You take it all with a grain of salt because you trust in the higher order of things, the greater intelligence to things. You trust the flow. You trust the divine. You know that all this stuff is going down for some kind of reason or purpose, and whether you know it or not, you trust it. And you're not going to make it too big a deal about it, and you're going to trust that it's actually bringing about healing or some kind of alchemy or some kind of support that is ultimately good for all parties. You're trusting that all of it is happening for the highest good. This includes your challenges, stressors, hurdles, speed bumps, and roadblocks that you experience in your life. You recognize it as just another part of the journey to bring about your greater evolution, your greater expansion, and your greater actualization and expression. And you trust that to be the same for other people. You know that anything that they're experiencing is purposeful, that ultimately it's going to be for the greater healing, their greater transformation and growth, that it's all going down for the good of it all, right? So you are very trusting. You kind of are connected to and see the higher order in things, such that there's not any one thing that's going to throw you off for too long, because you're really living in a space of trust, which is actually pretty rare. So this is a trait or quality that you can really pat yourself on the back for, because few people can occupy this trait, and few people do for too long if they do. So this is something that's really special. You're able to see past the exterior or the external form of things. I feel like you can even see people. You really get people. You know people. So even if they show you a front or a facade or a persona, you're able to see right through it. So you're an excellent judge of character, more than likely. You're also someone who can see through to truth. So if there's any kind of lie or falsehood or dishonesty, you can pierce right through that and see right to the truth, right to the root of it, the truth of it. You're someone who can just see all the way through to it. So that's something that's really powerful. You're someone that's very authentic and very real and very true to you. You're not someone who is gonna play a role or a persona or follow a rule just because. So you're not someone who is conforming. You are not someone who's gonna be following a rule just because someone told you to. You're not gonna be someone who's conforming to some societal whatever just because everybody else is. If everybody jumps off a bridge, you're gonna be the one who's like, bye guys, I don't really know why you're doing this, but I'm sorry to see you go. I'm going to stick around, You're someone who's going to be authentic to you. I could even say authentic to a fault. Not that it's a fault for you, but that other people recognize you as maybe a little bit stubborn, or someone who has to have their way or whatever. But it's not even that. It's that you are true to you, and you know yourself so deeply well that you don't see any particular reason to thwart yourself or not behave authentically just because someone else wants you to. You're going to be authentic to you no matter what. You're not someone who conforms. People could consider you some kind of rebel or revolutionary or visionary. You're likely someone who's more alternative or off the beaten path or off the mainstream path. People are more likely to find you doing something unusual or something that's more freedom-based or liberated in your life and in your experience. You could be an artist, a creative, someone who is kind of doing things differently. Not all of you are going to relate to that, but I'm sure you can find a way to relate to that. But more or less, you are true to you no matter what anybody says. You're going to be true to you and authentic to yourself, your desires, what you want. And you're pretty firm on that. You're pretty aware of who you are and what you want. And you see no reason to veer from that. What else? Okay, so you're someone who does really well with balancing both, spirituality and practicality. So this could take a number of different forms. It could be literal, like spiritual and practicality. Like you're someone who might value meditation, for example, or yoga, or whatever practice or rule or whatever that's out there in terms of spirituality. But again, you're authentic to you. So you're someone who also values the mundane, the human realm, the human condition. You recognize that we came here for a reason, to play in these physical bodies. So you might be someone who values doing the dishes as much as you value reading a book, as much as you value doing a meditation, a retreat, just as much as you value a vacation, anything that's spiritual, as much as you value being at home and having dinner with your loved ones. But you're not someone who's going to place too much value on one thing or another. I also feel like you're someone who doesn't value the big dreams and big successes and big, these highlights and this sensationalism or glamorization of all these things. Like, you're someone who kind of takes it all with a grain of salt. You might be someone who's pretty down to earth and humble in terms of course, you're someone who can value these greater successes and these bigger dreams, but you don't see that to be too much different or all that different from everyday experience, from everyday reality. So you might be able to find the extraordinary and the ordinary of everyday life. You're someone who can find the beauty and the magic and the miracle and the gift in the moment, no matter where you're at or who you're with. You're someone who, again, can find the extraordinary wherever you go. So very well, you carry that perception or that filter no matter what, right? Nothing has to be particularly over the top or mind-boggling or amazing for you to really enjoy or at least appreciate or value the moment, the experience, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with. I don't feel like you put too much weight on the sensational or the spiritual or the supernatural. You're just as enamored and enchanted by the grounded, the real, the 2 feet on the ground, the dirt. You know, you're someone who probably feels like spirituality is akin to chopping wood and carrying water, right? It's kind of all the same. You might even be someone who values a hard day's work, who values the practical, who values the humane, you know, who values what it's like to be human, if that all even makes sense. But you know what I mean? Like, you're someone who doesn't act like we're far removed from our godliness, so to speak. So I feel like you're someone who is persistent, who has a lot of endurance and commitment. You're someone who might be determined and dedicated, someone who can show up time and time again. So you're someone who people are maybe even amazed to your level of endurance, that you'll always do what you say and you'll always finish what you say you will. Like, you'll always see it all the way through. You'll always finalize it to completion. You'll always bring it to its full fruition or manifestation. You're not someone who's going to give up easy. You're not someone who's going to resign. You're not someone who's not going to start. It's like, if you do start, you're not going to start everything, right? But if you do start, you're going to finish it. And you value that. You value commitment. You value showing up. You might even value, again, a hard day's work. You value sort of earning your way. And there's nothing wrong with that. We hear a lot of like working for your value. And it's like, as long as you are aware that you're valuable, that you have inherent worth, it's your birthright to be worthy or to experience abundance or whatever. And that any beliefs in the way of that aren't necessarily true or could be a limit. But if you're happy with who you are and what you do and what you like, then so be it, right? You like a hard day's work. You might like earning your way. You might like growth. You might like challenge. You might appreciate that sense of self-mastery that comes with growth, that comes with evolution, that comes with challenge. So card pile 2 in all, you're someone who's really connected to sort of the divine order of things. But I feel like you're not too like high off the ground, kind of spiritual like that. You're very much grounded, connected, anchored into earth here. Very much connected to the human condition. You might find a lot of value in just being human, and that in and of itself might be quote unquote spiritual to you. It's purposeful. You can see the value in it, the beauty in it. You don't really require a whole lot of bells and whistles, you know, whether that's on a date or whether that's on a holiday or whether that's for dinner or whether that is in everyday life. Like, you are the person who could be happy and well enough with just enough, and you're happy with that. You're fulfilled by that. You can find pleasure and fulfillment in the simple moments. You're also someone who's authentic and discerning. You're someone who is happy to be you and very much true to being you. You have no reason and see no reason to be anything else but you. People could see this as stubborn, but in fact it's just being authentic to who you are and what you want. You're someone, again, who's very much connected to the mundane and to this human experience and sees no reason to make a big deal out of big things when everything can be just as fulfilling and just as enjoyable and just as purposeful. And last but not least, you're someone who's very committed. You're willing to do the work. You're willing to show up. You're willing to put in a hard day's work. You like earning your own mastery, and that's something that's very important to you. So card pile 2, if this lands for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe. You can press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new video pops up. If you'd like to learn more about me and how I can support you, including my readings, where I offer both readings on life and business and a number of different themes, you can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, so card pile 3, anti-advice, what you're already awesome/amazing at. Okay, you are the kind of person, this reminds me of like the Queen of Swords in the tarot, where if you recognize it's not good for you, or if it's not taking care of you or uplifting you or doing something positive for you, then you're not going to have anything to do with it. So you know how to drop things even when you don't really want to, but you're someone who will always do what's best for you. You know, you're the person who will always do what's best for somebody else. You're always thinking of the highest interest, the highest possible outcome, the highest good, what's best for you, but what's best for all. So I feel like you're someone who not only can make necessary decisions, you might be someone who can act really well in a crisis or emergency kind of situation. You're the person that someone can go to for a reason. So you might be the voice of reason in a lot of situations, in a chaotic or a challenging situation, the voice of reason when something really sad or terrible, horrific happens. But it doesn't just have to be that, right? But in general, you just have a wisdom about you, and people know that you're going to do what's right. People are going to know that you are going to do what's necessary. People can trust you with even stressful or difficult situations or circumstances. They know that they can trust you with money, something like a budget. They know that you are someone who is ultimately really trustworthy in whichever situation. But you're also someone who's not going to cater to bullshit. You know, you're going to be someone who's not going to mess around with that. You don't play games. You might be someone who's a little bit no nonsense. You might be someone who kind of feels like strictly business. I don't know if that's exactly it, but people could say that about you. That's not ultimately true, but they just know that you're not going to cater to any BS. You're not playing any games. People can trust you to be real and do the right thing and to do the necessary thing and to make the best choice. And not just make the best choice for you, but the best choice for all. You know, it's a pretty rare quality and gift that someone will make sure that they always make the best choice for all, even if it's maybe not the best choice for themselves, right? Or a part of themselves. Like we could say unhealthy relationships. This is an example, right? Because I'm not feeling that energy here, but I wanted to offer an example. Something that you know probably isn't good for you, but you kind of still like it. You're the type of person who would let it go anyway. So you're not going to be someone who's going to get caught up in drugs or substances or toxic people or environments or a toxic workplace for too long. You're someone who does have some standards for yourself and even standards for others. Again, you're not going to be messing around with people who aren't treating you right, who aren't operating with integrity, who aren't treating you or themselves or others with respect. You're just not that kind of person. I feel like there is a level of esteem to you, right? So you might be someone who's well respected and admired. You might be someone that people put on a pedestal or see a certain way. Like you might even be in more leadership positions like CEO or boss or something like that. You don't have to be. It could be more energetic where people look up to you and you're someone that people trust and with like a lot of responsibility, but ultimately you are someone who's responsible, who will make the right choice and who will do the right thing, even in distressing circumstances, situations. You're going to do what's right. You're going to do what's right for you and all. You're someone who is willing to see something out. Like you're not going to be someone who's too quick to make a decision. You're not going to be someone who's impulsive. You're not going to be someone who is emotional or emotionally reactive. This doesn't mean that you aren't emotional or that you don't connect with your emotions. It just means that they aren't going to be the primary driver for you, right? You're not going to have an upsetting moment and make a ludicrous decision because you're upset. You're not someone who's probably going to have road rage or get into an altercation on the street. You know, you're not someone who's emotionally reactive, hostile, vindictive, vengeful. You're someone who is pretty level-headed, who is pretty practical and patient, someone that people, again, can trust. You might even be someone who's considered intellectual or intelligent. There's a wisdom or awareness about you. But I don't feel like you're so intellectual or intelligent that you're sort of disembodied and not paying attention and not really connected or attuned to yourself. I feel like you just recognize what's important. You recognize what's meaningful, and you're not going to let something like a silly moment of road rage get in the way, like, or mess something up for you. Like you can make wise, intelligent decisions based on what is most important or most meaningful or most relevant. Again, we already know you're entrusted to make really good and sound decisions and could be a great leader, but you're also willing to see something out. Again, you're not going to be the person who is going to make an immediate decision. So This could be that once you receive an opportunity or a request or something like that, you're the kind of person who might say, hey, can you give me a few minutes or give me a few days or weeks or whatever to decide? You're someone who's not going to jump the gun or make a knee-jerk choice or again be impulsive or reactive in any way. I feel like a lot of this is very thoughtful, diligent, productive. What else? Just like you don't react, you respond, and you respond thoughtfully. And I feel like there is something pragmatic and practical about you and your choices and your decisions. And that it also, though, always includes other people. So this could be your family. This could include your team if you are a CEO or a boss. But you're someone who you don't feel like an every man for himself kind of person. You feel like there is a family or a team or something like that around you at all times, or at least most of the time, where you're thinking for a number of people. So for you, it's not a matter of just being selfish, impulsive, and reactive. Like, it's not a choice because you're carrying the load here. You know, you might be captaining the ship, and it's important for you to consider all variables, right? And so you can, again, make the wisest decisions, the highest decisions, the best decisions, and you can be trusted to see something through all the way to the end and see it out. You're not going to fall for things easily. You're not going to be swayed easily. You're not going to be bamboozled. You know, no one's going to be able to talk you into some BS. You can see right through BS. If someone comes to you with something that kind of feels a little bit uncertain or shaky or salesy or slimy, you can see it right away. You're someone, again, who is very much you can see someone's character right off the bat, and you're very responsible, very tactful. You're someone who's hardworking. This just feels like a more masculine CEO boss kind of energy. You'll have to let me know if you're card pile 3. You don't have to be those things, but it feels like that energy. It might just be something that you express or carry with you. But you're someone who's hardworking. You're not going to shy away from a hard day's work. You're not going to be someone who's not willing to work for something. Again, very responsible, maybe even task-oriented. You're willing to do what it takes. You're willing to do it for how long it takes. You're not even the type of person who's like waiting for some kind of reward. You're doing it for the sake of doing it because you know that you must. Like, you're dutiful, you're responsible, you're willing to do what must be done, and there really isn't a question about it. Like, there's no qualm or reservation or apprehension or upset. You know, there aren't any pants or panties getting a bundle or in a twist, because it's like you're not even given it the time of day. Like, you know you got to get up, and you're not going to argue with yourself about getting up. You know you have to complete this project. You're not going to procrastinate or argue with yourself about completing this project. You know the shed's got to get built or whatever, so you're just going to take care of it. You're not someone who's going to get into all this commentary or dialogue with yourself or upset or disappointment and get yourself all twisted over something that you feel you just got to do, and it just is what it is. And you're resolved in that. It's not that you're ignoring those feelings and denying that you feel a way that you don't. You really just don't give a shit. You're willing to show up to do the damn thing, and you also value that. And so it doesn't cause too much stir in you. While someone who doesn't really value tasks or responsibilities or showing up or determination or responsibility, they're going to be maybe upset at a lot of those things or examples that I had to give, and they're going to not want to wake up and press the alarm button a million times and make all these excuses as to why they can't get up or can't go in on time. Where it's just an automatic part of you. It's an assumed part of you. You're going to show up and you're going to do it, and you're going to do it well. You're going to do it right. You're going to do it on time, and you're going to do it all the way through until it's completed, until it's done. You're someone who seeks for resolution and justice. I feel like you do value equality. You value fairness. There's some sense of sort of, again, I get this sort of air of prestige to you. Again, you're not messing around. You're not hanging out with lowlives. Not that there's any such thing, right? There's no true hierarchy. But you're someone who, again, you don't have time for any BS. And that includes a lot of the human BS that we all do, right? But I feel like for you, again, you're very just. You're very fair. You see the truth in other people's presentations. Like, if someone were to say to you, let's just say you are a boss, this is an example, right? But this could also be your child. It could be anyone. Maybe something's been unfair, or they feel like something is unfair to them, or they were late but they got in a car accident or whatever. You're willing to hear them out. You're willing to offer understanding. You empathize, and you might even be that just boss who's like, okay, go ahead and take a personal day and don't even worry that you were late. Like that kind of energy where you're very fair, you're very equitable. You're not going to unduly be hurtful or harmful. You know, you're not someone who's going to hold this giant standard over someone's head and I don't make people jump through hoops, right? And prove themselves and all this stuff. You feel very grounded, very down to earth, very real, very connected, very willing to see other people, to see their heart, to hear their truth, to meet them where they're at, but you still hold them to responsibility, right? So you, again, even for you, you're someone who, but you do like a fair outcome, right? You do like justice. You make sure that there are consequences. So if someone makes, we'll say, an inappropriate choice or something that's sort of off the rule books or whatever, you might not get, again, your pants or panties in a twist over it. You're not sitting here angry and hostile and all this stuff. You're not going to be throwing any of that energy out there, but you are going to expect that the consequences follow the choice, follow the action, that said person gets what is coming to them, more or less. Like, they made this bed, they're going to lie on it. It's simple, it's neutral, there's no judgment there, there's no charge. It's simply A equals B, or A leads to B, and that's just the way it is. So you're very level-headed, very practical, very responsible, very tactful, thorough, thoughtful, so even heartfelt. Again, there's some heartfelt to this, but definitely more thoughtful in nature. Let's see if there's anything else. Again, patient, allowing, willing, available, hardworking, trusting. And I think that's about sums you up, card pile 3. If there's any response to this, like, I want to hear, like, let me know how this lands for you. If you like, subscribe. If you want notifications, I encourage you to press the bell icon to receive them. That way you receive one every single time a new video pops up. And then otherwise, share your story in the comments. And if you want to get to know more about me, you can check out my details, including my both life and business readings under a number of different themes and topics. You can check out those details below. Hopefully some of that made sense. Or at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 3. All right, card pile 4. So the anti-advice reading. Basically, we're talking about what you're already awesome and amazing at. Nothing needs to change, kind of thing. Okay, so you're someone who has a lot of passion, a lot of determination, a lot of go-getter energy. It doesn't feel like over the top, like workaholism, striving, achieving, people-pleasing energy, although it could be, but it feels more passionate. There's drive here, zest for life. You want to explore life. You want to touch and taste every part of life. You want to be out there and be in it and tasting it and touching it and doing it and all the things. At some point, you could have been the life of the party. You might be someone, you just thirst for adventure. You thirst for life experience. You hunger for new, for novel, for something special, for something thrilling or exciting. I feel like you live a colorful life, a vibrant life, a rich life. Very rarely do you say no. You're a yes person. You want to go out there and you want to experience all that life has to offer. You're going to say yes to the opportunity, to the idea, to the thing. You're someone who is so passionate that you could be impulsive. You could be someone who flies by the seat of their pants, very spontaneous. You're willing to live in unpredictability or even a lack of stability. You might be someone who likes to pick up and go. You might be someone who likes to travel and touch all corners of the earth. You might be someone who likes to check out all the different special sites of the earth. You might be someone who is one of those people who goes to live in Bali or lives in Mexico or some of these like kind of hot spots in terms of spirituality. But I also feel like you have a zest for life. So you might be a creative, an artist, a visionary. You're trying to create something, be something, change the world. You have this perhaps inspiration to do better, to do big, to be someone, to make something happen, to come alive, to share this energy with the world, with the earth, to bring this planet up, to uplift humanity. Just feels like so alive and like this zest and like you're here for it and you want to change the world. It feels like the Fool and the Tarot, where it's like they're seeing everything with beginner's mind. They have fresh eyes. They're here for it. They don't even know that there's a whole world of maybe challenge or difficulty out there. They're just, they're open, arms wide open, heart wide open, ready to sort of take on it all. They want to experience it all. They want to know it all. They want to touch it all. To know about it isn't enough. They want to feel it, realize it, experience it. So you're someone who most definitely has a thirst for adventure, for experience, for the human condition, maybe even, again, for travel, artist, creative, visionary. You also might be someone who considers themselves a world changer, someone who wants to do great work. Some of you might want to be rich and famous. Some of you might have some incredible skill set when it comes to music or, again, art in some way where you could be on a stage some kind of spectacle, put on some production. You might be a performer. Some of you might be a dancer or a hoop dancer, a fire dancer, whatever, right? Any number of things. But again, I feel production, spectacle, show, putting it on, doing the thing, big. I feel like you have that in you. You might not even know that. I think most of y'all do. Okay, let's be real. But some of you, this might just be a part of you, but this is still then something that is relevant and something, again, that you don't have to master or whatever. Like, you've already got it. Like, this is already a part of you. This is something that's amazing and awesome about you. You might be someone who's naively optimistic, but in such a way where you haven't been jaded. You're not bitter. You're not carrying around a lot of baggage and burdens. Like, you're light, you're easy, you're fun, you're spirited, and kind of tiptoeing on rainbows and just living life and exploring what it has to offer. Not holding on onto any one thing for too long. Not grasping too tight to any one dream. Just maybe daydreaming and softly experiencing and just being available and willing. Like, this feels like a wonder child. Like a child who just lives in innocence and just is here in awe, exploring all that this human life has to offer. Yeah, passion. So you're very passion driven. You're very connected. I feel like a lot of you might have an activism about you, about social justice or equality-based activism, just wanting life to be better for all people, wanting world change, wanting to do better, wanting to make sure that we do better for all. You're someone who values the one, the whole, and the all. You're someone who might value the planet, nature. You might be behind ensuring we make environmental changes or changes in human behavior to ensure the sustainability of the environment. You might be someone who, I just feel so much energy of like, you might want to own a nonprofit or start a nonprofit or be a part of a nonprofit. You might be someone who is a part of a community, some kind of woke or conscious or whatever term we want to use, community, where you're living in community, not necessarily exchanging money, but exchanging skills and goods. Some of you could find you at the farmer's market. Some of you, let's see, what else do we have for this one? You want to go out there, you want to be the change, you want to create change, and you're kind of like a trailblazer, you're kind of carrying the torch and, wanting people to join you or standing side by side by other torchbearers and just doing the right thing and trying to create world change and trying to bring peace on earth. This is something that's very important to you. Some of you might identify as hippies or gypsies or whatever term, right? Some terms aren't as used anymore, don't have the same connotation as they once did, but you might identify yourself as any one of those things. But again, visionary, artist, creative, hippie. You might be someone who's a fan of New Earth, wanting to bring about the paradigm of New Earth, or actually experience and create New Earth in the physical. Just very connected to Earth, very connected to more feminine values, home and family, earth and nature, community and spirituality, health and well-being, women and children, justice, equality. Let's see what else we have here. Again, very passionate, very driven, very principled, very vision-minded, vision-oriented, wanting to create change, wanting to bring about a vision for one and for all. You're not one to stay in one place for too long. Now, that could be either physical, like geographically speaking, location speaking, but it could also be just you don't ever stay the same for too long. You're driven for change. You're hungry for change, for evolution, for growth, soul growth, spiritual growth. Change in environment. We got some of the traveling and the moving and the gypsy energy earlier. You might be someone who, again, travels the world or continents or, what is it called when they kind of take an RV around? You kind of hop from place to place to place, couch surf. You might be someone like that. Or it could be something like you never stayed the same for too long. You're always growing, changing, yearning. Again, this thirst for knowledge, thirst for the world, thirst to know, to be, to do, to change. You really want to create change in this world. You really want to be the change, be a voice. You want to play this role. You want to be a part of something. You're a part of something bigger. I think that's really what it is for card pile 4. You're a part of something bigger, and that's where you get a lot of this passion too, is joining with others toward a common goal, a common purpose, a common vision. That's really where you thrive. That's where you feel your best. If you ever find that you don't have a lot of passion or zest or aliveness, it's because you're looking for the common dream, the common principle. You're looking to unite for community, for a purpose, for a bigger vision. You know, just doing it for you or doing it alone probably isn't enough for you. You really want to be a part of something and a part of something bigger. That's something that's very important to you. Yeah, you guys have like every single passion card. I'm not even kidding you. You don't stay the same for too long. You're always moving, changing, and growing. Look, here's your whole spread. Emotions are running high. Fiery climax approaches. Some of you guys might relate, you know, Mars in your chart. It might be Aries. The energy is gaining momentum and stepping out of your comfort zone. Always moving, changing, vibing, alive. You know, doing the damn thing. Where are we? Yeah, you're someone who, again, very passionate, very driven, very connected. Let me see if anything else wants to come through with this final card for you. You really want to be a part of something and also create change. Like, you have to have purpose. That's something that's very important to you. You have to have purpose, and you have to have some kind of fulfillment around purpose. If you don't feel like you are purposeful, if you don't feel like what you're doing is purposeful, you're not going to feel good about yourself or feel confident or feel fully in your zone, in your element. It's extremely important for you to have purpose and to feel really anchored into that purpose. And again, if you don't feel like you're making a difference, that's what I mean by purpose, you might feel off. And so, you know, for the other cards, I didn't even notice that or feel this, that something might be off. And I don't think it's for the most of you. 80% of you are already on point in alignment, but 20% of you might not be feeling this way right now, and you might be wondering why. And the reason you were brought to this reading, I feel like, is because you were wondering why something felt off center or not quite right or in alignment. And it's that you need that purpose, that drive. You need to be contributing to something. You like that united purpose, united vision, common cause. You need to feel purposeful. It's really important for you to feel like you're making a difference. If you aren't making a difference, or you feel like you aren't making a difference, that's something that needs to be looked at for you. Even though this is the anti-advice card, so I'm not going to say too much, except that you yearn to make a difference. That's so important for you. Card pile 4, that's what's already awesome and amazing about you. So if you're feeling like you're not fulfilled in that area, this might be what you want to return to. And it's already here, and it's already a part of you. You are meant to make a difference. It's something that's so important for you. So you can return to that if, for whatever reason, you don't feel like that right now. So card pile 4, what is already awesome about you, what is already amazing about you, is that you're passionate, driven, motivated, connected to a cause. You love building something, creating something, contributing to something, locking arms with people, and creating a difference in the world. You endeavor toward world change. You want to be the change, the voice, the visionary for a movement. You want to be a part of a movement. It's very important for you to grow, to change, to actualize, to express, and by way of this, then contribute to a greater world change. So card pile 4, if this resonates for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, do press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to learn more about me and my work and how I can support you, you can check out the details below, where I offer both life and business reading. I offer a number of different readings, including both life and business readings. You can find out those details below or at erritygreen.com. Do press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a video pops up. And I will see you next time. Thank you, card pile 4.